Welcome back to our F1 2020 Ferrari Return to Glory career mode. Today then we've got probably the most famous race on the F1 calendar, the Monaco Grand Prix, and we're coming here then in the middle of what is shaping up to be a very famous season then, as we see now then the driver stand-ins. Well, after the last race we saw Danny Kvyat took the win there. It was an AlphaTauri 1-2 and they've suddenly now become outside contenders potentially for this World Championship. Our teammate Charles Leclerc still leads away. We still lead the constructors and we're 9 points behind him in the driver's standings, so another good result and we could be right in there then. Now we were trying to get a chassis upgrade on the car for Monaco, but sadly it once again failed then, as it does every single time apparently when we try to rush through an upgrade. Even though it's like a 33% failure chance, it just seems like it's like 100% for us, and we'll try and get it on the car then instead for Canada, as we now then fast forward time then to the weekend then, which always starts on Thursday here at Monaco. And this is how the car development is looking like heading into this weekend then. Red Bull have made a slight step forward then, but Mercedes still with nothing then, but they still apparently have the best car despite the fact that they get to win a race this season and they've only had one podium so far. So it just tells you everything you need to know about the season so far really. And well, it could potentially get even crazier then, because as you can see there's rain forecast for Sunday. It's looking nice and dry on Saturday, but yeah, it's looking like changeable conditions then on Sunday, so that's going to mix things up once again, and we'll have that to contend with. Something else we have to contend with as well then is the fact that our engine parts are getting quite worn. We're still using all of our first parts and we're going to try and just use them again this weekend then, because this is the least important track for, you know, like engine power, so I think we may as well just try and just enjoy it then for this one weekend, and then we'll just get all fresh parts on for Canada, because I think we need to sort of just try and be a bit economic then with our parts, and yeah, so that we don't have too many grid penalties later on potentially. So yeah, we're just going to use all these old parts then, and hopefully they'll last the weekend as we head now then into qualifying. Well, hopefully then get a good grid position here then, because obviously it's probably the most important, well, qualifying of the season then, well, in terms of yeah, how difficult it is to overtake here. So yeah, we want to be as high up the grid then as possible. We've had some good qualifyings recently, so hopefully we can have another one here then, although we'd obviously want to be a little bit higher than 5th place here then today, as I said, because of how difficult it'll be to overtake. In Q1 then, thankfully we did get a nice clean run in early on, and that was a good enough time then, that 109.4 to get us through then to Q2. So yeah, that was nice and comfortable there then. Red Bull looking very strong early on here then. Our teammate there just in front of us as well there. And well, bit of a surprise there then, the hero from Barcelona, Danny Kvyat, was out in that first session then, along with the 2 Alfa Romeos and then the 2 Williams as well there. Moving on to Q2 now then, where we're in a good position then, because obviously we haven't really used up too much of our tyre life. Then we've got 2 fresh sets in for this session, potentially if we need them. I mean, it'd be pretty good if we can get through actually on one set here, and you know, our pace has been not too bad, although we were bouncing off the walls there in the final sector. This is where we're quite strong though, these final few corners, so hopefully we can have a good end to the lap here then. We said 109 then 0.2, and we'll see then if that is good enough. We'll see Leclerc down in 4th there. I was actually fastest going into this final run here, but it was the 2 racing points behind me, and I sort of didn't trust that everyone else was on what I'd done, you know, their full potential there, so I went again on another set of tyres just in case, but I saw that I was safe in 2nd place, so I backed out of this lap because there didn't seem to be any point using any up any more tyres there. We got through in 2nd, but that is not the story here. The story is Charles Leclerc at his home race, the championship leader, and he's out in Q2. He's 14th on the grid. So that is just unbelievable there then. Magnussen up in 11th with his best qualifying of the season. The 2 McLarens out, as is Romain Grosjean, but Leclerc then only 14th. That is a huge shock for, well, for us as a team, and well, for everyone really. And certainly it's all on us now then for Ferrari here then to actually get a good qualifying. So we haven't always pulled out of the bag here, but we're still going to have to do it today then, because yeah, it's all hopes on us then for pole position, or at least any kind of good qualifying here. Our initial time then in Q3 wasn't that great then. We set at 109.5. Obviously we know we can do better than that, so we're back out again then, this time on a fresh set of tyres, and we'll see what we can do. We were 4th then after that initial set of laps then, so not too bad. But as I said, we'll expect the lap time to improve over the course of the session then, and we are improving then on this second run, or at least we were there until we made a bit of a mess of Tabak there, which is a bit of a shame because we were about a quarter of a second up, but we are still on for an improvement here then, and we messed up the final sector last time, but we've got it perfectly this time then, so we are going to gain back that time and we are going to improve by about a quarter of a second then, and we move up then to third on the grid. So that's our best qualifying of the season then, and it does put us in a decent position to challenge tomorrow, as we got Lewis Hamilton then on pole, and I believe for the second season in a row, in fact, it's Alexander Albon in second. So he obviously likes his track, and obviously he needs a good result because he's had a terrible season so far. Verstappen are a big surprise there, down in 10th. Good qualifying there for the Renault team as well in 5th and 6th. So this is a rare sight. Then we've actually gained points on Leclerc then in the rivalry in qualifying. So yeah, it's normally him that out-qualifies us, and then we gain it back in the race, but not this weekend then, as we gain some more acclaim there then and get so close to level 12 with that one. As we see then, our engine parts do not look good at all then, but 98 laps they should last for the for this race then. Obviously we've got the weather to watch out for as well. It could be a crazy race here then. Let's head into the Monaco Grand Prix.
Nelson Piquet once said that driving the Circuit de Monaco was like riding a bicycle around your living room, and it's not hard to see what he means by that. There's no more prestigious a Grand Prix victory than Monaco, but also none so challenging. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars climb around 40 metres up through Beau Rivage, onto the casino, and then descending down towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of the 19 corners here, 7 to the left and 11 to the right. There's one single DRS zone as well, so don't expect that to make overtaking any easier today. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the scientist. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, just edging out Alexander Albon, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have the scientist, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, and Ocon, Stroll, Perez, Gasly, and Max Verstappen, Magnussen, Sainz, Lando Norris, and Leclerc, Grosjean, Kvyat, Kimi Raikkonen, and George Russell, Giovinazzi, and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Obviously we'll be starting on the soft tyres that we qualified in Q2 on then, and it's a one-stop strategy, quite nearly pit stop for us then on medium tyres, but obviously there's a good chance then that we won't be on those until the end of the race, but with the rain coming in as well. What we're going to have to watch out for is probably a repeat of Spain, certainly early on, with cars outside the top 10, I'd imagine, going for medium tyres then, and it'll be crucial then in this early part of the race then to get a good gap out to those cars so that we're not rejoining in the pack. I think that happened to us last season, if I remember right, but we actually managed to make some overtakes on that occasion. We could find it a bit more difficult this time because we are running a very old engine at this stage, so we want to be trying to just keep on our track then and not making any mistakes and just gaining any places that way, as we are going to line up now then on the grid, and we've got the lights coming on now. And away we go, and it's a very good launch then. We go straight into overtake. We're already alongside Albon then towards the first corner. We've got the inside line and we're up into second place, so that's exactly what we need to do there then. We've already taken one of the places in that we need. We'll see if there's anything we can do about Hamilton as well then, although he has had pretty much the perfect start then by looks of things. He's already got an 8 tenths of a second lead then up in front of us. Looks like Albon lost out then when we overtook him there, because Bottas has moved up to P3 as we all head now then into the hairpin. And yeah, obviously it's usually single file through here then, but we're just nowhere near Hamilton at this stage. We'll see if we can get close then through the tunnel here towards Nouvelle Chicane, but it looks like he's got some good drive there then, and we are not anywhere near then on this occasion, but still a solid start for us then to this race. Exactly what we need to do then, just get a place right off the start. And yeah, because as I said, it's going to be quite difficult for us to make an overtake, so yeah, the start was always going to be quite crucial there then. And yeah, we just sort of ran Albon wide, it looked like. We'll see it on board from him here then, and he really bogged down there off the start, has to be said. And yeah, we were just alongside them before too long, and then yeah, he's got run out wide there, and that allowed Bottas to also move over position as well then, as we see it on board then from the Mercedes driver. And his start wasn't particularly great either, but he managed to cover the inside line then to stop the threat from the two Renaults there, and then he managed to capitalise on Albon going wide. And if that bit of track had been a bit longer, then he may well have had a run at us there, but that wasn't the case then. I just get to lap 6 where Hamilton was building out a lead, and I was struggling quite a bit here just because my engine parts were quite worn, and I think it's the MG UK wear that does it, but it was quite hard for me to save up my ERS here then, so I couldn't really just use my overtake to catch up to Hamilton, because if I did, then I would just be left with nothing to actually attack him with, and I'd be there for another 4 or 5 laps just charging the battery up again. So that was a bit of a problem I was having here then. I just couldn't really use overtake without, well, for barely any time at all really, without having to spend a lap or so charging it up again here. So yeah, I was having to be very cautious with how I used it, and it meant that this early part of the race then was quite uneventful then, as we skipped to our pit-in lap now then of lap 11. And yeah, the tyres looking quite bad, but we were just about hanging on to them still then. Hamilton still eking out that lead though to 4 seconds in the end, and he pits on the same lap as us, as we now follow him into the pits then. Bottas stays out, and we'll see then what our team can do. Obviously we're not going to jump Hamilton here then, because he's already gone, but hopefully we won't be in too much traffic here then, as we had to wait for a second because of Ricciardo, so that certainly didn't help. But hopefully then we can still come out in a good position here then. Well, compared to this traffic, we're so close though. It's Sainz who leads them, I think, and he is going to go through there, unfortunately. And yeah, so it's only going to be 3 cars by the looks of things that we're going to have to try and fight back through, as we come out then just out of our teammate there, Charles Leclerc. But yeah, we've got the team McLaren's on mediums, we've got Magnussen on hard, so he's going to be going very long into this race then. So we're going to have to watch out for him. Well, we're going to have to watch out for him potentially holding this up, I should say, because obviously we want to try and pass him as quickly as we can. But yeah, that's certainly not ideal for us then. We're going to have to make some overtakes then if we can. But thankfully though, we do seem to have stayed ahead of Bottas then, although it is quite close there, but we do just do enough then to maintain our position over him. So we should still be second place then once this all plays out. Hamilton has managed to still find his way out then in the lead there, so that worked out quite nicely for him there, and that 4-second gap that he had was absolutely crucial then. As we thought about look at Norris there, and in fact Bottas is now looking around our outside then into Mirabeau, into Lewis hairpin there. We're just going to right around the outside here then, hold the McLaren and maybe get the inside line for this next right-hander then. And it looks like we're side by side then, and into Portier we have actually managed to make the move stick then. So not a very conventional overtake there, but we made it work then, as we see Bottas was certainly looking to make the move there as well there. But we managed to turn that then into an overtake of our own then. And Norris then thankfully just about gave us enough space there, and we managed to get through. As we skip on to lap 14, where it is now starting to rain, so it won't be too long then, I imagine, before we may be switching tyres here then, as we want to clear Magnussen then as quickly as we can, because yeah, obviously he'll be quite slow then on these hard tyres. But I mean, if he can last until the until the Inters are the best tyre, then he's in a fantastic position then, although it's not going to be a podium position because we've just taken that from him there then. Sainz is looking very good as well there, up in second place, assuming they can last the mediums until the Inters. Speaking of which, we're already getting the call, although they've told us to come in next lap, so bit of a weird call there. You'd think they'd tell us when they wanted to come in on that lap, but no, they want us to wait another lap, which is weird because the stewards have already disabled DRS then. So yeah, the team well, they said they don't want us to pit this lap, so that's not what we're going to do then. Hamilton's in, Sainz is in, looks like Magnussen's in, yeah, Norris is in, Charlo's in. We seem to be the only car that's not pitting here then. The team are now saying, yeah, lap 15, time to come in, but for some reason they wanted us to wait an extra lap, and the track is now just absolutely treacherous already. Then the rain has come down very quickly here into Lowe's hairpin, and we've slid just into the barriers there. We've broken a bit of our front wing, and well, the race is just falling away from us just instantly here then. As I said many times before, you know, this is part of the series, the self-imposed rule. We have to follow what the team says, and what the team says has been, well, absolute nonsense. And basically only Latifi and Giovinazzi then have followed us on this strategy by the looks of things, as Hamilton has already retaken us, and we were only 4 seconds behind him before the first pit stops, and now he's already got a whole pit stop over us then. As we are going to change our front wing, we're also going to have some lower wing angle this time as well then to help the stability of the car in these conditions. But that is just absolutely ruined our race, and that strategy called to not pit on the initial lap that they wanted us to, well, it wasn't the lap they wanted us to. They wanted us to pit on this lap, and that's what we've done, and it was completely the wrong call there. So yeah, well done for that one then, Ferrari. They got it right with Leclerc though. He's up in 4th, so you know, yeah, they got the home guy his good position there then. As we come out of the pits then, and we don't seem to be the only one who's been screwed over in this race, because we've got Perez down in 13th then, Verstappen down in 14th, but we were 2nd and we've ended up down in 15th position. So just an absolute disastrous call there from the team, and we've got a lot of work to do now then to try and fight back through the field. We'll see if there's anything we can do then from 15th. We've got a big train of cars then up in front of us, as we see then. Actually, Stroll was another one of those cars that made the wrong call there, because Magnussen's here is passing him on the intermediate tyres, and then Stroll goes straight on into the Nouvelle chicane, comes back across, and then there's contact there, a broken front wing from Magnussen, although he didn't pit with that, so I guess he's just trying to stay out then. He is back up in the podium positions then, obviously because of, well, the Ferrari blunder there, but we're trying to make some progress then. We're up the inside of Verstappen into Lowe's hairpin, made a bit of contact with Perez up in front of us, and we got a warning for that, but we've got the move done in on Verstappen at least, and we're up to 14th, so just going to have to start making some slow and steady progress. And you can see there's a huge train of cars in front of us then that goes well into the point, so if we can just keep on, you know, making these moves, then maybe we can eventually find our way back to where we were, but it's going to be a very, very long a very long journey back then. But we're going for it then. We're going past Sergio Perez now then into the hairpin. A bit more of a clean move then than we did last time. Perez is still there though, so we've got to give him some space here then, and we've just about done enough then. We're up to 13th, so we've got a lot of work to do though, but yeah, we know what we've got to do then, and we're just gonna, you know, get to work and do it then. So we skip a couple more laps then, we're on the back of Romain Grosjean now then, and it's just the hairpin, just seems to be working for us then today then. We're carrying more speed this time around the outside. Going to do what we did then with Norris earlier in the race and in the dry conditions, and we've made it work then again, passing Grosjean and up into 12th, so we can almost see the points now then, as we see then the replay of that one, and it all just comes to a stop almost on the apex there, and that just allowed us to drive around the outside and make the move stick then on Grosjean. And yeah, this train then is still very much still there then, so we can just keep on picking off these places, because obviously it's Magnussen up in 3rd with that broken front wing that's holding everyone up here, as we've now got right. And then on the very next lap, and we're just going to try and do the exact same thing once again here then, round the outside as it all bunches up on the apex. And yeah, he can't turn in on us now then, so we just take the inside line for the right hander, and that moves us up then into 11th, as Bottas there is only 9th, so he's had another disaster here then. It's all gone wrong for him once again by the looks of things. So yeah, that rain has really just mixed everything up then completely, as we ran into the back of Ricciardo there, but thankfully we didn't get any damage from that, as Sainz is out the race then from 2nd position, and that has actually brought out the safety car, so that is really, well, that's going to bunch everything up then once again. But yeah, it's going to put us into the points then, which is good for us, but a massive shame there for Carlos Sainz, because he was running in a very comfortable 2nd position there then. He was nowhere near Hamilton, but he had a comfortable gap to Magnussen, who obviously was holding everyone else up there. So yeah, a huge shame there then for the McLaren driver. But yeah, we're up to 10th place then, and just you can see the lead that Hamilton had, because 2 laps later, maybe even 3 laps later, we're only just catching up to the safety car here then. We're in 10th, but it is actually going to be 9th then, because Russell, who was running in the points, is now pitted. So well, don't know why he's done that, but he has pitted them from the points, and that's going to drop him all the way to the back of the field there, surely. So, yeah, Williams then have just given up points position there then. But it's because they're putting on the wet tyres there, so do they know something that everyone else doesn't know, potentially? Well, Russell then is going to be last, but he's on the wet tyres then, as the rain is certainly getting heavier here then. Track conditions are certainly getting a bit worse. The safety car is now coming in then on the end of lap 27, so yeah, we're almost coming to a stop here in Rascasse here then, as I just want to try and get moved on Ricciardo as soon as possible here then. But Leclerc's in, and in fact everyone is just driving in the pits there then. We come out onto the pit straight and no one's here. We are going to take the lead of the race then on this safety car restart because everyone's pitting. There's some cars on wets. Hamilton is on Inters still. Albon is still on Inters. And Russell is into second position for Williams. We're in the lead. Russell's second for Williams. Hamilton's on Inters. Leclerc's on wets. Albon's on Inters. What on earth has gone on here? The team have not said anything to me about pitting, so I'm just doing my own thing here at the front. But meanwhile, Williams have played an absolute masterclass to get George Russell up to second place in the Monaco Grand Prix here. So this is just, yeah, the whole race has turned on its head once again then, as we are now skipping a lap. Then we still haven't been called in for a pit stop here, and our tyre wear is looking pretty bad. In fact, Hamilton's in again, and so is Albon. So Mercedes and Red Bull put the wrong tyres on their car, and the race is just getting even more crazy then, because yeah, they've had to pit again then. Hamilton was absolutely miles clear in the race, and he's absolutely lost it all now then. Raikkonen's up to 5th for Alfa Romeo, Kvyat's up in 4th, and we seem to be the only car in Inters now, because you can see on the map there's a load of cars that just apparently put the wrong tyres on when they pitted, and they're in again. We've got the two Mercedes though now well down the field, the 2 racing points as well, I think maybe the 2 Red Bulls as well. So I don't know what on earth has happened in this race, but all I know is that the team have not called me in, so I'm not pitting, but I'm on intermediate tyres that are certainly not right for these conditions, but I'm leading the race on a track that is very hard to pass on. So we're just gonna, you know, wing this then and see what happens. We can't hide from the fact though that George Russell is closing in on us at a very quick pace here, so we could well be looking at one of the craziest results here of all time then, if Russell actually manages to pass us here, which could well happen because we are struggling big time now then. We're just lighting up these rear tyres, which is just causing even more wear to these Inters. The rain is easing off by the looks of things, but we need it to, well, we need the track to dry out as quickly as possible so that everyone's back in again for Inters, because yeah, once the track starts, well, once some of these puddles start to clear, then the wet tyres are certainly going to lose their pace then. As Russell is very close to us now then into the Nouvelle chicane here. We're just going to tiptoe in, but we've tagged the inside wall, we spun round, and Russell is going to go through into the lead of the Grand Prix. Leclerc's up to 2nd, Kvyat 3rd. The winner from Barcelona is up on for another podium now then. As I turned down my fuel mix and also moved my brake bias forward then to help with the rear tyres here, but well, it doesn't help when you just go and crash into a barrier anyway there and spin it. So yeah, that certainly wasn't the best moment for us there then, but it certainly is for George Russell then, because he leads the Monaco Grand Prix for Williams. I mean, what on earth is going on today? We see it on board then from the Williams driver then, and yep, he was so cautious then to not run into us, because that could have so easily ruined his race here then. And wow, I mean, we got 3 cars then that qualified well down the field down now, the first 3 in this race. There's going to be another one here then, because Raikkonen is going to move up to 4th then, because I just have absolutely no grip at all on these Inters. I have no idea why the team haven't said anything to me about pitting. Like, I literally don't have a clue, but they've not said anything to me about, you know, pitting. I mean, like, you do get the radio messages where they say, oh, maybe the wet tyres are quicker, but they haven't said anything. They haven't specifically suggested a new strategy to me, so, you know, I haven't pitted, because, you know, that's the rule in this series. So yeah, I mean, we're on for a big gain of positions, let's not forget, because we were down in about 11th position. But yeah, Raikkonen's going to go through now then and up into 4th in the Nouvelle chicane here. I'm going to have to watch out for Magnussen then, who was on for a good position, then he wasn't, and now he is again. And he doesn't quite make the move stick there then, so we hold on to 5th place for the time being. But these are going to be a very long 6 laps now then to hang on to this, because our enters then are starting to wear out very quickly. Then Magnussen now goes through, and incredibly so is Nicholas Latifi and the other Williams then, so they might not just win this race, but they are also on for a double points finish here then, as Norris is now challenging us as well then for position. So we really just need to try and hold on to a point here then if we can, just anything if we can, well, because we are, as I said, we were outside the points, so technically this would be a good strategy call if we can actually hold on to it, because we have managed to cut out a pit stop. But we are just falling through the field, and well, the rain has certainly eased off, but the track conditions are not improving quickly enough for us to actually salvage anything here then, because Norris is going to go through now then, Giovinazzi's right in the back of us, and then it's actually Lewis Hamilton in 10th position now then. After all that, he was miles clear in the lead the race, and he's actually just taken the Alfa Romeo then by the looks of things there. So he had this race in the bag. Mercedes had it in the bag once again, and once again they've lost it. So this crazy season just goes on and on then, as he's getting now then to lap 35, where we're starting to finally slow down this tyre wear a little bit, but still we're just having to drive so cautiously just to make sure that they actually do get to the end of the race here then, as Hamilton is all over the back of us then, but we're doing just about enough then at this stage to actually keep them behind us. So I think we are starting to get more towards the point where the intermediates are the slightly better tyre, but the problem is just that ours is so worn at this stage that we're not really getting much of the benefits from it, because obviously we have been on these tyres since whenever the rain started, which was around about lap 15. So we're on just such old tyres at this stage then, as here comes Hamilton now then a couple laps later then into the New Vale chicane. We're side by side, he's cut over the curb there slightly, we're just about ahead then looks like, but no, there's contact, and we've gone into the wall there then. I'm trying to drive out of it, but I just can't, because we're just getting pushed down the barrier here then. Grosjean hits us, we've got a 5-second penalty for illegal blocking. I didn't really have much choice there, I was just getting pushed down the barrier, but after all that then, it looked like we were going to salvage a point, and then with just over 2 laps to go, we've lost it. We're down to 11th place, we've got a 5-second penalty, so that's it, we're not going to recover it now. We held on for so long, it looked like, the conditions were improving. We managed to keep Hamilton behind for a few laps. He's now pitted, Bottas is only 12, so there's going to be no points today for Mercedes by the looks of things. But we were just holding on for so long there, and then, we'll see the replay of this incident. Looked like Hamilton cut the corner there slightly. I thought I was fully ahead there, and I was a bit surprised, to be honest, that he didn't back out of that one, but I just couldn't do anything once I was in the barrier like that, just getting pushed down the barrier. But Grosjean sort of righted us there by just smashing into us, and that gave me a penalty for illegal blocking, I guess. So this is very similar to Ricciardo and Hamilton back in 2016, and Ricciardo backed out at that point, but Hamilton obviously didn't feel like it there, and he ended up breaking his front wing, and we ended up with a penalty and dropping down to 11th position there. So that's both our races ruined there. We see it on board from Grosjean, and he was quite a way back, and then I don't really know what he was doing there, to be honest. He just sort of drove into us when he didn't really need to, but thankfully he did, because we were just getting pushed all the way down the barrier until that point. But just an unbelievable race. I don't know what words you can use to describe this one. As we see then George Russell coming out the final corner now then, in the slowest car in the field. He has won the Monaco Grand Prix. An unbelievable race there. The home hero Charles Leclerc was 14th on the grid, and he's recovered to 2nd place today. Just an unbelievable race, and we are going to be 11th and on track, but we're going to drop a few places then. As you can see, we're closing back up now then to all these wet tyre runners then. It was just too little too late though, and after all that we are still going to end up then with no points as we cross line for P11.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Here they are then, coming into Parc Fermé, and an excellent win for the Williams team. hands. Talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
So here they come now, with Williams leading the way to the podium. A hard-fought victory for the team today, and one I'm sure they'll savour. It's Williams, today's winners.
Surely one of the craziest races and results in F1 history. George Russell taking a legendary victory at a legendary circuit for one of F1's most legendary teams there, which has obviously fallen from grace in recent years, but wow, I mean, that is just unbelievable then. The slowest car on the grid has come through to win the Grand Prix there. Leclerc was second, Danny Kvyat was third, Raikkonen was fourth, Magnussen fifth, Latifi sixth, Norris in seventh, Giovinazzi 8th. Albon was the first car to start inside the top 10 that actually finished inside the top 10 in 9th. Ricciardo got the final point, Bottas missed out in 11th there, and we ended up 14th then after our 5-second penalty there. Lewis Hamilton started on pole, dominated the race in the dry, and well, even in the inters as well, and ended up 18th in the end. Carlos Sainz was the one retirement in the end, and who could have known what carnage his retirement would have caused there. Leclerc still leads the way then in the championship. Obviously he extended his lead today then. Kvyat moves up to second then, and well, we stay fifth. Russell up to 9th place then with that result today, and Valtteri Bottas, the reigning world champion, is down now to 12th place in the standings. So I mean, he's still only 51 points behind with still a lot of races still to go, but I mean, it's turned into an absolute disaster for him here then. But yeah, just unbelievable how close it is. But I mean, it has to be said though that Leclerc certainly did have a very good result today then compared to everyone else. So that has certainly worked out in his favour very nicely then. Alexander Albon only 16th for Red Bull at the moment, and Lance Stroll only 18th for Racing Point, incredibly. So yeah, you can just see then all those big results then today for the lower teams, and it's just mixed things up even more then. As Ferrari then, we still lead the way in the constructors. AlphaTauri then stay in second place, Mercedes stay in third, Red Bull still fourth, but yeah, it's all changed then further down. McLaren then in fifth, Williams are up to 8th then with that result today, and it would have been good days as well for Alfa Romeo and Haas of course with good points finishes, but now Williams have just managed to build out a massive gap over them there then, and yeah, it's just all changed then. An unbelievable race that we've witnessed here today then in an ever crazier season.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. How do you feel the weather affected the outcome today? How do you feel seeing your teammate up on the podium? It's your teammate's home Grand Prix. Do you think they enjoyed themselves out there today? It was more like dodgems than Formula 1 today, wasn't it? Appreciate your time.
Well, it really was roles reversed today, well, this weekend then, because we got the points over Leclerc in qualifying, but he got us then in the race there very comfortably in the end, and he goes back into the lead then of this rivalry. We did at least do enough then today to gain some driver claim to move up to level 12, so that was the one thing that ended up going right for us today then, because we come away from Monaco then with no points sadly after all that. We were on for what looked like quite a comfortable second place at one point, and yeah, the team got it wrong with the strategy, and it looked like they may well have saved our race with the next strategy, but then yeah, it didn't quite work out in the end. Bit of a incident with Hamilton, and that really put pay to our race. But yeah, this season just gets crazier and crazier. You just don't know which way it's going to go. Well, we do know that we're going to Canada next, which obviously has a bit of a history of crazy races, so we'll see what happens there then. Really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, really appreciate a like on the video, and hope to see you next time.